Welcome back to another episode of Vault Talks. I'm JT Miller, joined here by Khem Uprety. He recently moved to the Cincinnati area, started up his own cleaning business, fellow entrepreneur. This was another Connect Cincy connection. So, this is just a sign to get out and go meet new people, go shake hands, because you never know where it's going to go. But without further ado, here's my man Khem.
Hey, everybody.
You want to talk a little bit about maybe your background before you came to Cincinnati?
Yeah, so my parents moved into America in '08. I was about 6 years old, so little kid. And I grew up in Erie, Pennsylvania. I went to Mercyhurst University. I graduated with a marketing and business degree in 2025. The city where I live, small city, the population is 200,000, and compared to Cincinnati, 2 million. It's a big difference. So I got a job opportunity here, and I have a daughter, I have a family, and I was like, okay, if I don't do something right now, I'm going to be stuck here. And none of my friends were going anywhere in their life. They were just like, okay, we're going to just work a 9 to 5. And I never wanted to be like that. I own a property back there, and that's going to be long term, right? I moved here. I was working the marketing job. After a week, JT, I hated it. I'm driving to Germantown, Miamisburg, and that's 30, 40 minutes a day in the morning, and Cincinnati traffic was not it. After a few weeks, I was like, okay, I don't like this. My cousins were like, we're going on vacation. Do you want to come? I said, yeah, why not? Quit my job. I went to the Bahamas for a week, came back, and then my cousins, they all have their own business. So their schedules are always free, and I wanted that for myself, but I didn't know what to do. For a minute, I was selling exotic animals. So I was selling parrots, whatever, Right now I have lemurs sitting in my house, so anything I could get my hands on, and it was making me a comfortable living, but nothing was it was not coming month to month. It would be 1 month I make a few thousand, next month $0. And I was also trading on the stock market, and one day I lost a large sum of money, and I was like, this can't be it. I'm not gonna go anywhere like this. So that's a little bit of background.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually didn't know you were in the exotic animal business. I think I saw a picture of your lemur. So what's that little guy's name?
His name is King Julian.
Okay.
And then the other one, his name's Jafiri. I don't know. I heard that name before. I thought it was cool.
That's crazy. I never even thought about that as a business possibility. How'd you get introduced to that?
My cousin, so he moved to Cincinnati when he was I think 16. And I'd come visit in his apartment. He would have alligators, caimans, snakes, and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is something I could do. So I started doing that for a while with him, and then I started taking the reins. But it wasn't consistent. The craziest animal we got was a monkey, a capuchin monkey so far, and he just sold to some guy in Michigan. Yeah.
There we go. You don't hear that every day. That's awesome. But I know just hearing your story, a lot of the people that I've brought on here have talked a lot about how important it is to surround yourself with the right people. And I think you touched on that a little bit indirectly. Just you were hanging out with some people, maybe goals didn't align. How important was it on your journey to basically move here and start over in a sense?
Your environment plays a big role in what you're going to be as a person. So if you hang out with people that are doing, I guess, stuff that's not going to get them anywhere in life, you're going to fall into that physics because you're with them every day. You're hanging out with them, spending time with them. Your mindset's going to be just like theirs. If I'm not working, what am I doing? Just sitting around at the house? I don't want to do that. I hate being home. That's the worst thing for me because it's I feel so unproductive. But then having people in your environment, my cousins, my cousin owns a nail salon. My little cousin, he has a business for himself. My aunt and uncle, they're always working, so they're not home. I was I have to do something. Having that environment where people are working hard and you're pushing each other is very key because you're going to fall behind and you don't want to fall behind. You're looking at these people bringing money and then making them successful and you're just sitting in the back observing rather than doing it for yourself.
Exactly, man. I think it truly does come down to, you're the average of your 5 closest friends. I do also want to touch on your real estate property. I think a lot of the listeners are entrepreneurs. Maybe they're looking to get into real estate. So is that a rental currently?
Yeah, it is. Erie has a good market, especially when I bought the property, which was 2 years ago. They're really rebuilding the city. I bought the property my senior year of college, thanks to my dad. He, basically fronted me the money. And I bought this property from my mentor who was helping me, he has 100 units and he's a multi-millionaire, So I was like, hey, I really want to do this. He's like, all right. So I started working on the house myself because he said, I'll give it to you at this price. I was painting and everything. And then I was like, I can't do this. I don't know how to paint, but I did everything else prior to that, getting it ready. So I saved a little bit of money on that. I got it painted and then he sold it to me. I got it for $50K. The property value when it got appraised was $75,000. So I got a really good deal on it. I own the property for 2 years. It's making good income. It's not passive because things break, this and that. So I have to find people to fix it. Real estate is not passive. People tell you that it is not passive. So For the last 2 years, I've been spending money on it, getting the property up and running. I've had tenants in there for the last 2 years. And the property right now, I checked the value about a month ago because I'm trying to refinance and buy another property, a duplex. So I looked at it. It's worth about 100,000. My tenant's also been doing work on it. I buy the supplies, he'll do the work, so free labor. And if I get it appraised, it should be around 110,000. And I'm looking to do that, but just have to work on minor things.
I know typical rule of thumb when you're running that route is they'll give you about, 75, maybe 80% loan to value. So if it's 110 and you can pull out, say 80, I mean, you've gotten everything out and you're still keeping it as a rental. So that's awesome. But I do love how you mentioned that it is not passive, because I think everybody sees that on social media. They hear from their friends that they have a rental property, whatever the case, and they just think, I'm going to paint this thing up, throw a tenant in there, and it's going to be passive.
Yeah.
Well, until you get to a point where you can hire a property management company, it's not passive. And I'm sure you've dealt with that, the headaches of tenants texting you at 2 a.m. saying the toilet's broken. But I do just want to touch on that because I think that's a big misconception everybody has nowadays.
Yeah, it's like, you have to deal with people, and dealing with people is probably like the worst thing. I never had any issues with my tenants because I did a good background check. They're good tenants. They never miss a rent payment or anything like that, and they always keep me in know. I'm over here, so my friends are back at home helping me with my property and having that support system, like having one good friend that can go check on up like anything. And then the other thing is like you got to pay property tax, this and that. At the end of the year, let's say your property makes you $9K, you're probably going to spend like 4 or 5 of it on the property itself. So until you have 10, 15 properties make you income, you're not really going to make anything. And this is for the long run, right? Like in about 5 to 10 years, you acquire a good amount of properties, then you'll be like, okay, I can make this passive, having a property manager deal with all the hard stuff, and you just collect the rent.
I love that you're in that world as well, but I do also want to shift gears and talk a little bit about what you're doing now. So from our conversations, running your own cleaning business, you want to tell a little bit about how that came to fruition?
I went to my sister's nail salon because I was just like, my life sucks, this and that, just being a negative, downer basically. And a girl was getting her nails done and she heard me complaining about it. We had a lot to connect on. Like, she had a daughter, I have a daughter, and we're about the same age. So after that conversation, we became friends because I didn't know anybody here. And she was working in the cleaning business, and I was like, okay, like, she told me she was making like $5,000 a month. And then like a few weeks after, I wanted to quit my job and everything like that, I was like, how much does your company make? They're doing this under the table and everything like that. She said, oh, everything's word of mouth, and I think they make about 30 grand a month. So I started looking into it. It's a growing industry. Ever since COVID, it's been booming. The commercial side of the industry is like 1 trillion, and then the residential side is about 35 billion, and it's still growing. There's always going to be a demand for people that need cleaning. So I started looking into it, and I was going to work my job because I got a part-time job for another marketing firm just to have cash flow coming in. One day, my cousin was like, let's go to this networking event or something. I was like, I don't know. I have a shift. He said, quit. I said, all right, I'll quit. So I called. I said, I'm quitting. I met this woman, and they were having a soft launch for their mortgage company. It was nothing. It was a networking event. It was just going. And she looked really rich, like she did. So I was like, hey, my name's Khem. I introduced myself. I said, I just opened up a cleaning business. She's like, come to my house Saturday. I was like, what? It caught me off guard. I looked at her house, and it was 12,000 square feet, and, it was a few $1 million house. So I went there Saturday. That following week, I went there and we cleaned that house for 3 days. We made $3K off of it, and I only worked about 30 hours. Like, that's unheard of, right? That's like crazy. Like, I'm getting paid $100 an hour to do this. I have to split this with my partner, obviously, and everything, but that's still great money in 3 days. I landed a commercial client right off the bat as well, my sister's husband now. So we're going there, cleaning their daycare and everything like that. So it made me have good income right off the bat. My partner also quit her job and took a risk because she wanted to start a cleaning business, but she didn't have somebody that could handle the marketing, this and that, because she knew the industry, but everything that goes into the background and running a business and getting more customers. So I guess it was a good fit, and I'm grateful that I found her, and, we're building this company together.
I love to hear how you just took the risk. I think a lot of people nowadays, maybe they settle in some way, shape, or form. They're living a little comfortable. Maybe they got enough money each month to live their life and they're happy with it. But, your cousin called you and said, let's go to this networking event and quit your job on the spot. And sure enough, it worked out. You are an entrepreneur and you knew that from the get-go. And you were going to find a way to make it happen. One way or another, it was going to happen eventually. So I'm super glad to hear the cleaning business has taken off. But with you guys, so are you more so focused on the residential or the commercial side?
So we have more residential clients than commercial right now. But I'm building the commercial bracket. It's a little bit harder because there's so many cleaning businesses and it's very competitive. But having a commercial client is safer and less tedious than a residential. When you sign with the commercial client, it's like you're set a certain amount of, like, you know, they're not going to cancel. They'll give you the keys to the building and you're going to go clean the location every week, every 2 weeks, whatever. You know, at the end of the month, you're going to get paid by them. Everything works great. Plus, like with scaling a business right now, it's just me and her. So I can go do this at 2 o'clock in the morning if I wanted to, you know? So it makes it so much easier. But even residential, we have about 24 clients in total right now, reoccurring. We have like jobs, you know, like move out, move in, which is like one-time cleans. But the residential is really good for us. And then commercial, I'm really trying to hone in and build it up because like long term, that's the best to get into. Right now, it's like we have dentist offices, like that daycare I mentioned, and small like insurance agents and stuff like that. So right now, that's what we have for commercial side.
I love it. Just hearing your story, right off the bat, this thing started taking off for you. But was there anything maybe that you didn't see coming? Any setbacks you faced in those first couple months?
I gave myself no plan B because like I did a lot of things in my life and there was always a plan B. So it's like, if this doesn't work, I have something to fall back to. And that's a bad way to think about it. Don't have a plan B. You're going to get too comfortable. So like the first month was really good. Second month, we're starting to build our business. Were we having enough money to survive? Yes. But were we surviving comfortably? No. And then every month on month, we were just growing and growing and growing. But like, there's a lot of challenges. Like you have customers that you have to deal with. And sometimes like, if they cancel, how are you going to figure your ways around that? The month of May was the best month for us by far. But then we had 3 cancellations. So I had to put more systems in play so we don't have to deal with situations like that. I lost $3,500 in income. And it was okay because it's like, if I don't do the hard part now, it's going to hurt more later on. So we lost 3 clients and that's fine. June, it was a hard month. My sister got married, so we had to, take some few days off. But at the end of the month, we had a really good end to it the last week. And then July, it's been amazing. Like every day, it's been over $500-$600 a day, and I'm booked out for the whole month. So
there we go. I love to hear that. And I think you brought up a great point, just not having a plan B. I mean, a great quote that a mentor of mine told me from the get-go was burn the bridges. Any other opportunity you might have, get rid of it. You have to put all your focus, all of your time into one thing and make it work, because a lot of people want to dabble in a bunch of different shit. They want to have a bunch of backup plans, a plan B, a plan C. You just need to have a plan A, and you need to do whatever in your power to make plan A work, and that's what you did.
yeah, definitely.
So you guys have been in business for about 8 months now, is that what you said?
Yeah, this is our 8th month. So we started on December 1st, and that's probably like the worst time to start winter. But I'm trying to get the reoccurring client side because like at the end of every month, I want to know what I'm going to make next month. Winter's coming, fall's coming, just having customers that I could be like, okay, we're going to make this much, and then we could keep growing. But I lost a big contract, like I said, $3,500 in income, and it just made me want to work harder. So July is becoming so much stronger because like I was getting comfortable. And then I was like, okay, this can't work. So like right now, I've been working 2 times harder, and just like going to more networking events because that's all it's about. The people who you know and who they know. Marketing, everything is great, but you got to just put yourself in front of people, make them trust you, them believe in you. And that's how you're going to get business. That's how you're going to grow.
So true. And I think a lot of people starting out fall into the trap of paid marketing. Maybe they start running Meta or Instagram ads and they spend all this money to not really see results. And I don't think that's how you guys are approaching it. From my understanding, it's a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah, it's a lot of word of mouth. I tried Meta ads. I spent about $2,000. I got 2 clients. One of them is reoccurring. I made my money back in the 8 months, like, when we required and everything like that. But now it's just like Google. I don't want to use Meta and Instagram. I have a marketing degree and I didn't think about this, but like on Facebook, people are just scrolling just to scroll when they see something. Okay, but converting those people is really hard because they might not fit into your budget or they don't want to spend the money. So Google, like when people go on Google, cleaning service, they're looking for that service. So they'll want to use you. They'll give you a call, whatever, see if, you're going to match what they need. And another thing is when you're getting into a business of yourself, you got to value yourself. At first, my partner said, we're doing $100 an hour. I was like, don't you think that's too much? She said, okay, we could do $80 for a little bit. And then as we grow, we'll go to 100. After the first job, I said, okay, yeah, you're right. $100. Cause I seen the value in it. I think that's pretty expensive, but like it's labor intensive. And we're thinking about going up to 120 because a lot of our competitors are at 120 an hour.
I just thought of this quote: price is only an issue in the absence of value. So a lot of people, they downplay the price, or that's what they get caught up on. Well, if your value exceeds the price, what are we talking about? And I think that's what you guys do a great job of. You leave all of your clients happy, and that's how you've been growing, getting referrals from them.
People that don't want to pay the price are usually the ones that you can never make happy either. I had somebody call me about like 2 months ago. She said, "Are you willing to negotiate on your prices?" I was like, "Hey, we can't do business, like, because I don't want to deal with that problem. Like I don't want a bad review. I have 5-star, like they're all 5-star reviews and everything like that. So I don't want to lose that, and I think that's gonna kill the momentum."
Yep. That's the name of the game right there, is being able to build relationships, because that's what business is. It's a relationship business. And I do love how when you and I first connected, I asked if you had any other people working for you, and you flat out told me no, because when you start bringing on other people, that's usually when the quality of your work dips.
Yeah.
So it's you and Georgia just running the show, and you're just trying to basically build that reputation up.
Right. Since we're so new, there's so many businesses that have been here for 10 plus years, and we're pretty young. So like, for the next year or so, just building the business, everybody in the community that we're working in knows us, be like, okay, they're reputable. Rather than like one person coming to work for us and then ruining our name. And then when you hire people, they're not going to give as much care to detail as you are to your business, because you're trying to build something. For them, they're just getting a paycheck. So that was like our thinking, because we're trying to save money. When we start hiring, we can afford to take a hit, because when you hire somebody, you're going to take a hit. And you got to pay for all these taxes and like all these expenses, and then having an office overhead. So getting to a point where, okay, maybe we can't hire somebody right now, but we're going to lose money, and that's a risk. So maybe in like 2-3 months, we'll hire somebody that, okay, we feel comfortable. We like have a name for ourselves, and this is the right direction to go in to scale the business to a higher point.
And I did just think of this as well. So remember, you lost that $3,500 a month client. What's kind of the biggest takeaway that you learned from that? Because I'm a big believer that you actually learn more from your failures when you're getting started than you do from your wins.
So like value goes into it. So these customers, they cancel like last minute, and that was $750 that week that we lost. I could have scheduled somebody that week if they didn't cancel on us the day before or the day of. We let all of our other clients know, hey, this is how it's going to go. Like, if you're fine with it, we'll love to continue working for you, alongside you. And everybody besides those 3 said yes. The 3 ones that canceled didn't want to deal with it. Right? I think people that value the service you provide means a big deal, because like they're not going to leave you hanging. Having a loyal customer base that you can always count on is the most important thing.
100%. And I know you do have a family and a daughter. So I guess, what's your goals long term with this company? Where do you want to see it in the next, 5, maybe 10 years?
I gave myself like a 3-year goal. At first, I was like, okay, maybe after a year, it's going to get to a point where I can let somebody else take care of it. But it does take time. I had like experience when I made quick money, but that money doesn't last because you don't value it. Like it just came out of thin air, and you're going to spend it like it came out of thin air. But when you're working, you're putting your blood, sweat, and tear. It matters a little bit more. Every dollar you spend hurts. So my goal is to get this to a point where we can hire people to manage the business for us. And I can either, go back home and get my life situated over there, start another business, or keep building my real estate portfolio. Or plan B is I try to move my daughter here. This is a bigger city. I kind of like Cincinnati now. The only thing I hate is the humidity and the traffic. But other than that, like, great people. In the smaller city I lived, is like people don't want to see you win because they're feeling like they're losing out when you win. Here is like, I'm in a BNI chapter, and I think you are as well. So like in that group of people, they just want to support you and help you grow. And that's awesome. Like having a support system of 30 people that are there for you every step of the way.
Yep. And like Khem mentioned, me and him are both in BNI groups. We're not in the same group, but we're both in a BNI group in Cincinnati. And man, I was originally turned off from the idea. Paying to send people referrals didn't sit well with me. But the more that I went and the more that I learned and met the other people in the room, it's been a game changer for my business, and it sounds like for yours as well. Because when you meet up once a week with other business owners and other people who are actively prospecting, I get sales ideas, I get marketing opportunities, word of mouth referrals. If you've been contemplating getting into a networking group or an accelerator program, whatever the case, don't look at it as an expense. It's truly an investment into your business and really into yourself.
100%.
How much has BNI really changed your guys' business?
So much. So my partner mentioned like the business she was working for back then. They were in BNI and they were getting a lot of customers through it. And at first I looked at it, I'm like, okay, that's about $900. Do we have the money to spend for it? And we didn't. We got to a point where we had the money. So I went and visited a chapter. But BNI is a dedication. Like you have to be there every week at a certain time, right? But it makes you more involved, and it's like it's your business. If you're not going there, then you're just not working hard. So mine's at 7:30. I think yours is around the same time every Wednesday morning. So it gives me like a opportunity to wake up earlier, get my day started, and get like the hard part out. So I get there at 7:30, and it's been life changing. Honestly, like meeting all these people, like I said, that want to help you out. My month of June was kind of slow, and I got a lot of jobs from BNI towards the end of the month, so that helped out a lot. And I got my initial investment back already. It's been about 2 months, and to have that initial investment of $900 back so fast and then some has been great.
And I mean, me and Khem are not paid by BNI. We're not
Not at
here to
all.
promote BNI. We actually pay to be in it. But I mean, we're just here to tell you firsthand how it's changed our businesses. I mean, if I'm looking at a small business owner who's thinking of spending, $1,000 on a meta ad campaign, I think you'd be much more well served to go into something like this because, like Khem said, I mean, he made his initial investment back in a month, and now everything on top of that's just profit. And that's not even talking about the relationships you build in that room. I mean, those aren't just going to be one-time referrals. Those are truly building business partnerships.
Right. And there's a lot of people that have been in business for 10, 15 years or people that are just starting their business. So if you have any questions, they're there to help you. So I love that aspect of it. And it's like, it's real connections. Like I met some of these people's families already. I go to their house or they come over and we do stuff together. And it doesn't feel like a meeting. It's like, that's my friend now.
Yep, it's so true. I mean, it's kind of funny, but in my line of work, we typically always say a phrase where if people don't pay, then they don't pay attention. And I think it couldn't be more true with BNI. I mean, that was originally what turned me off, but then I started to slowly see that, hey, all these other people have $900 on the line too. So they're going to be just as bought in as me when it comes to trying to grow each other's business.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know earlier in the show, we already got a little piece of advice from you, just not having any plan Bs. Just for a young entrepreneur out there, what's maybe another piece of advice that you've learned throughout your process that you'd want to share with them?
I guess make a lot of mistakes, JT. Like in my life, I made a lot of mistakes. My parents will tell you like, oh, he's a trouble child, this and that. But I guess you make a lot of mistakes and you start learning from them. My parents were like, when are you going to ever grow up or be mature or anything like that? But like moving to a city where you don't have anybody and you're by yourself, back at home, my parents would always cover my mistakes and always help me, and there was no learning from it. But now, if I make a mistake, it's on me. So, like, make mistakes, but you got to learn from them every single time. If I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for me. So, the biggest thing is, like, don't get lazy. Make mistakes, but you got to learn from them and build on them and take risks. Obviously, if you don't take risk with your life, what are you doing? If you're 21, 22, 23, you have the next 10 years to better these risks and make them come to fruition. And if you're 30 and you don't want to take risks anymore, you probably have a family, you probably have a home, and it's going to get scarier to take a risk. But like right now, I'm 24. If I take a few risks and I make mistakes, I can still learn from them. I guess take a lot of risk. And like, one of them is going to pay off. Like you can start 100 business and fail, but the one that will work will make your life.
I love it. I think the biggest risk you could take is to not take any risks. I mean, if you just play it safe, these are the years you have at your disposal. If you start a side hustle, you start a business and it doesn't succeed, well, maybe you just hand it in and go get a job, right? If you're in your 20s, you're young and you're hungry, just do it. Who cares what people think? Don't rely on their opinions.
If you go work for 40 hours, you're going to get a nice paycheck, right? But if you're working 80 hours a week on your business, you're going to get somewhere in the next 2 to 3 years, and it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of success, and you're going to be happy for it. You might have to sacrifice a lot. 80 hours is a lot, Give up your social life or anything like that. I still tend to try to have fun because like we're young, and I want my life to have meaning. Like I'm working hard, but I got to enjoy my life as well. Work hard, enjoy life, and like, do everything to the best of your ability, especially when you have a business. You have so much, I guess, free time when you're not working, you're not doing anything. And like, if you're not dedicating that time to your business, what are you doing?
So true. And also what you mentioned, I mean, just don't get discouraged. Sometimes it might take 2 to 3 years. Maybe it takes 5.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people start a business or they're thinking of starting one and they think it's just going to be, a quick turnaround, quick profit. They're going to work hard for a year and then sail off into the sunset. That's typically not how it works. You got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And I think you got to know that getting in. It's like, hey, I'm going to be underpaid for the first 4 or 5 years. And then for the rest of my life, I'm going to be overpaid. That's how I like to look at it.
Right. You're investing that time for the long run,
I think this has been a great episode. I don't think we've touched on it. So what is the name of your cleaning business in case one of the listeners want to find you?
So it's called Prestige Home Cleaning Co. It's based out of Westchester. We go about 30 minutes. That's about 25 miles throughout the city. And we're in Montgomery, Indian Hill, Westchester, Liberty, anywhere that anybody needs cleaning done. So if you guys want to check us out, you can go on there. I also have a TikTok page. I don't really upload on the business, but I vlog my like day to day basically. I tell the people what's going on, and I have like 250 followers. I get to go look back on it. This is what I did this day. Did I work as hard this day than I did this day? And I don't know. I got a few people that texted me and be like, "Hey, your videos mean a lot. I got out of my hole because of this and that." And it's like one or two people, but that had like a big play on me. Be like, okay, these two people got something out of what I say, because a lot of the time I just say a lot of bullshit. Like, I made this, or we did this today, this and that. But it's like one to two things people caught on to, be like, hey, how'd you start your business? Like, what do I have to do to start my business? And like, just be able to tell them, okay, like this is what you have to do. If you ever need any help, I don't mind. Cause like, that's the best thing you could do, help other people. Cause like, if they're actually reaching out and they want help, like, why not? Like, you're not going to lose anything.
Yep. I'm a big believer that creating wealth means you bring other people along for the ride with you. So what
Yeah.
you're doing on the TikTok page is awesome. That's very similar to what I'm doing with this podcast. I mean, we don't have a huge following yet. One day we'll be there, but if I can just help one or two people, which I think I have already, it makes me want to keep doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not doing these accounts for validation. It's just, this is what we deal with on a daily basis. If one or two people take value from it, then we're doing it for the right reasons.
Right. 100%. And it's been a great, like, talking to you. Everything is like so genuine.
Well, what is your TikTok page?
It's Khem Uprety. Let me check my phone. I don't even know it, JT, because I don't like scrolling. So I just upload. So it's Khem.Uprety1.
Awesome. Khem.Uprety1. You guys heard it here. Prestige Home Cleaning Co. Reach out to my man Khem. He's been killing it. I can't wait to see where the company goes over the next few months. It's only upwards from here, but really appreciate you coming on today, man. I just think you've been a great person for young entrepreneurs to hear from. You moved here, new city, new business. Really, you just restarted,
Yeah. Clean slate.
Clean slate. And I think that pays off. Getting out of your comfort zone. If you're comfortable, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I appreciate you having me on and giving me the opportunity. JT's a great guy here. I met this guy like a month ago, and he was like, hey, let's get on the podcast together, and just a great person.
I appreciate it, brother.
Of course.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy. This was another episode of Vault Talks, joined by Khem Uprety, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.